All right, so we got our parts installed, so now what's next? Okay, so as you can tell, maybe the garage is a little, smoky. We've been out here welding. We got those bolt-in subframe connectors. Not so bolt-in. I mean, they are if you want to go ahead and just drop everything in the car, which I didn't. I didn't want to do that. So went ahead and I think someone tried to install these very same type of subframe connectors in the front because on the front on both sides, the holes were already drilled in the frame and they lined up perfectly the way they're supposed to. So I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe the back holes are there. Negative. And now I know why, because they're a pain in the butt to do. So we did get the drive shaft safety loop in there. That's all in, drilled through the floor, blah, blah, blah. Holes in the car, which I wanted to do the Stifler performance one, but, I already had this. It was cheap, cool, got it. But I also think since it connects both sides of the floor pan like that through the tunnel, I think it actually may add some strengthening to the actual body of the car, just like the subframe. So I think they might accent each other very well. I'm a little blurry-eyed here. I have an auto-darkening helmet, and it works great, except for when it doesn't. So like I said, we got the subframes in, bolted in the front, welded the rears. The beads went in very nicely, cleaned up the frame real good. Started the holes, just went ahead and filled the holes with welds like I would if I bolted it up. And then threw a few beads around the outside of it. So those are in. Like I said, the drive shaft safety loop is in. Now, some other things I had on the car that I didn't really care for before, where I had 1-inch wheel spacers on each side because I went to a 17 by 10.5 wheel. Well, when I swapped the car from an automatic to a manual, it didn't have the e-brake cables. So I went ahead and reinstalled them. Well, they interfered with the new wheel. So now what I've done is I've actually relocated the holes for the mounts for the e-brake cables and was able to remove these because I know I have the ARP extended wheel studs, but I just didn't really want to run a wheel spacer when I decided to go to the racetrack. So now you can see how the wheels sit in a little further, but also how much of those studs are really exposed now. Which, that's cool, because, race car, whatever. And you can see my beautiful quality welds there. Now, I will say, they look way worse than they are. There's actually a solid bead underneath of that shit. Believe it or not, they're actually pretty freaking stout. They're just ugly. Subframes all the way up. And there you can also see the subframe connector bolt in the front. And you can see where the actual drive shaft safety loop mounts in there. Now, I would be the first and foremost to say it. This car isn't exactly the cleanest underneath. There's no rust holes, anything like that, but there is some surface rust. It's a 25-year-old car in the Rust Belt, where in Ohio, they use a lot of salt. Now, I know the last time I weighed the car, it weighed 3,080 pounds. That was with the old control arms, which we saved about, I want to say, what was that? 30 pounds almost on the front end? 15 per side? Yeah, almost 30 pounds on the front end. But we added some weight since we went with a turbo back exhaust that we made and split off to the catback and made dumps, but also adding the subframe connectors and adding the drive shaft safety loop. So I don't know how much we actually added on top weight-wise above losing the 30. I'm suspecting the car may weigh around 3,150 now, somewhere around there. And that was with a 3/4 tank of gas, I believe. So we'll just see where it's at from, there weight-wise. But that's not the big concern. What the big concern is making the car work. Now, one other thing I'm actually really excited for is the engine bay. I finally took the time to pretty much mask everything off, which sucked. There's a couple of things I still got to touch up, but sprayed the engine bay black. So that way I can pop the hood and show everybody. It doesn't look like, the Grinch's car being all, red and green. Check it out. Look at that thing. So much better. Looks so much nicer. A lot cleaner. It was just one of those things where I was, kind of, it's weird. Open your hood and it's all red. Your car's green. It just didn't work. Didn't work at all. Let's be real here. Out of everything I've done, I think that's probably the favorite thing I've done. For sure, the most noticeable. All right, so that's where we're at so far, guys. We got all the parts installed we wanted to, and now the next thing is to hit the drag strip. So weather, depending, we'll be there very soon. So today's opening day. It's on to, beer and baseball. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.